As you may or may not know, my wife and I just got back from Vegas. It was a great trip. We ate, we drank, we had a blast. But then we got home and looked at the credit card, and I gotta say, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having, $25 for a drink is a ripoff. Frickin' Vegas. I hate getting ripped off, and so do the lads over at Harry's. They spent years watching the razor blade companies rip people off and said, no more. Not all heroes wear capes, my friends, and they want to prove that they're legit by offering you hot dogs a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. I've been telling you about them for months, and I'm genuinely proud to have Harry's as a sponsor of this show. I wasn't kidding. The plastic, futuristic-looking crap razors you get at the store are overpriced and they're poor quality. Harry's blades are crisp, clean, and classy. They're the kind of razor you'd expect your grandpa to have on his bathroom counter. And most importantly, they work. Shave after shave, they're so smooth, they're precise. I used to go through the crappy store blades all the time, but Harry's are built to last. And they're not just better quality than the other names, they're more affordable. And they deliver. Just set your schedule, and for as little as $2, new blades, shaving creams, lotions, everything you need, right to your door when you need it. I genuinely cannot think of a reason not to try Harry's. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsors. They're the best shaving supplies I've ever used. Try them out, and if you're not happy, your shave's on them. And unlike the other subscriptions, they're really easy to cancel if you want to too, which is a nice bonus, but believe me, you're not going to want to cancel. Getting ripped off isn't funny. Switch to Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. That's harrys.com/RTG for a $3 trial set. Remember the Game is brought to you by my website, abcomedy.net. As you may or may not know, I'm a comedian by night. And as much as I love talking about old video games, telling jokes is how I actually pay my bills. So please check out my website. In addition to old episodes of this podcast, you'll find my blog, videos of my stand-up, all of my upcoming shows, and my contact information. If you need a comedian for your next fundraiser, corporate event, house party, whatever you got going on, hit me up. Again, it's abcomedy.net. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe to it. Please leave us a good review. And most importantly, please tell a friend. I'd really appreciate it. There'll be a new episode every single Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for the support. I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game, my retro gaming podcast, where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and geek out about a video game from back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you guys so much for tuning in or downloading or whatever the fuck the term is. This week on the show, episode 28, we have a newcomer as a guest. My buddy Kyle is in the house, and we take a look back at one of the best platformers probably ever made, certainly on the Super Nintendo, a game from near the end of the NES or the SNES's lifespan, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. I think the Super Mario World 2 part is somewhat irrelevant. That's there to sell games. Just call it Yoshi's Island. Call it for what it is. This is a great game, man. It's like playing a cartoon. I'm not going to waste too much time talking about it in the intro because I always fucking do that. We'll talk about it in the episode itself. But I'll tell you guys, just when you look at Super Mario World that launched with the Super Nintendo, and then you look at Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, that came out near the end of the Super Nintendo, relatively speaking, man, can you ever see the jump in what they were capable of as far as making games, eh? That's ridiculous. The music and the graphics, like, they were really obviously like cooking on all cylinders, figuring out what the Super Nintendo was capable of. So, I'm excited to get into this one. It was fun listening to some of the music, getting ready for it. And we are going to get into that in just a minute. As far as news going on my end, we have a website. I have made a website for the podcast. I've been fucking scrambling for the last 3 days trying to get all the old episodes uploaded and figure out the design and everything. You guys can find it. Hopefully, I mean, you may have found this podcast from the website, but if you haven't been to the website yet, please check it out. It's very easy. RememberTheGamePodcast.com. RememberTheGamePodcast.com. I will be putting a new post up there every Wednesday with our new episode. I've gone back and rewrote Bigger, Better. episode summary / blog for each of the 27 episodes that existed prior to the website launching. There will be new one going up with every episode every Wednesday, and I plan on just posting some regular blogs about whatever I want to talk about in regards to gaming on the website as well. So everything is there. There's links to all of our major podcast services. It's very easy to find an episode from there to subscribe. You can go back through old episodes on the side of the podcast or the website. There's an email list. I signed up for it before I launched the website just to see what it would actually send to make sure you guys weren't going to get filled with spam or anything. And it really looks like it only sends you an email when I update the website. So if you're interested in getting those updates, sign up for it. I don't have any access to it. So if it starts sending you crap, tell me and I'll delete it. But I think it's only going to send you updates when I update on the website. There's an email list. You can search for games. There's a bunch of categories where you can look for just podcasts from specific consoles there, if that's what you're into. I really worked hard on it. I'm actually sick of it right now because I've spent most of today's Tuesday the 15th. I'm getting ready to upload this thing tomorrow. By the time you're listening to it, it's the 16th or forward. But I have been working on this site for fucking pretty well nonstop for a week when I haven't been out at shows, and I'm sick of it. So I hope you guys like it. Really, if you want to just keep listening to the podcast or whatever other way you have been, please do. Like I said, links to all the major services are there. I'm just repeating myself now. I'm just excited, so I hope you guys like it. If you're on social media, you can throw us a follow, too. We're on Twitter at MemberTheGame, just like remember, but without the R-E, at MemberTheGame, and Instagram at MemberTheGame. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/RememberTheGame. And I follow back anyone that follows me, so please do so. And guys, please keep listening and keep sharing. I don't know what is going on out there, but listeners are still going up. I said last week that our downloads were up 50% over the previous 2 weeks. And as of right now, when I look at it, we're up almost 140% over the last 2 weeks. I have no idea where they're coming from. We're at about 600 downloads just over the last 30 days alone. And I know that to a real podcaster or anyone that knows a lot about the business, you're like, oh, wow, that's it. But to me, holy shit. Because I can't believe that 10 people are interested in listening to this podcast, much less 600 over the last 30 days. So if you're new to the show, thank you so much for listening. If you're someone that's been with us from the beginning or whatever, I don't care. If you've even listened to one episode, thank you. I truly do appreciate it. And I hope you guys can see I'm really trying hard to help take this thing to the next level. We're going to get there together. And if you're enjoying it, leave us a review. I'd really appreciate that too. I'm reading them on air as I get them because I don't always have one. This one this week was from last week. The one this week is from last week. There was a comment left on last week's episode, which was about Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. If you haven't listened to it, check it out on our website, rememberthegamepodcast.com. And it was my first dip into the Sega pool on the show. And my buddy Chris, a Sega nerd, left me a comment and said, finally some Sega love. I love the podcast. It's cool to hear guests' memories of the games. Please keep them coming. So thanks, bro. I do plan on keeping them coming. I have a bunch in the bank. I'm going to be doing another recording session here in about a month. I usually do 10 or 12 episodes at a time just to fucking bank them. So we're going to keep it going. This is fun. Thank you, guys. As far as what I've been playing, sorry, this is all over the place. I'm tired, and I have a show tonight, and I haven't done anything, and I got to get to work, so I got to get this recorded. As far as what I've been playing, primarily Smash Brothers Ultimate on the Switch. It's awesome. I've been into that. And then as a really cool gift, my buddy, I don't want to go into too much detail because I'm not entirely sure on the legal grounds of this, but my buddy hooked me up with a copy of Mother 3, which if you don't know is Mother 3 is like Earthbound 2. It's the sequel to Earthbound from the Super Nintendo that never found its way over to North America in any English version. And my buddy hooked me up with it, and I have been playing with it, and I adore it. I adore it. Earthbound is one of my favorite games of all time, and this one has been just as good. It's been so fun. One of the coolest gifts I've ever gotten, so thank you very much, man. And maybe down the road we'll do a Mother 3 episode on here. So that's what I've been playing. That's what's new. There's the website. There's the uptick in downloads. Again, you guys, thank you so much. And please check out the site. If you have any feedback, let me know. I'd really appreciate it. And that's enough. I've blabbed for almost 7 minutes. You guys aren't here to listen to me talk. You're here to listen to the podcast. So I'm going to shut up. I am going to cue the music. And I am going to talk Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island with my buddy Kyle. And I did not put any Mario crying sound effects in this one. I thought about it. I had them downloaded, and then I was like, no, it's so fucking annoying. And if I listened to a podcast where I had to listen to that, I would stop listening. So no Mario crying. It's a Mario cry free zone, I promise. Enjoy the podcast, you guys. Here we go. Check it out. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows about our illustrious CEO, my dog Molly. But the other silent partner behind the scenes is my wife. And let me tell you, my friends, a 17-year relationship with another person that has to talk to and live with you is a lot harder to maintain than one with a dog. We've had our ups and downs, and as you all know, a relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. They can be a lot of work. You get out what you put in when it comes to relationships, and talking to a therapist can be a fantastic way to put in some work. They can help you work through your issues, learn to communicate better, and even just provide you with an ear to bend when you need it. I've talked to my therapist about my relationships, especially when it came to my stand-up comedy career and how much I was away from home, and they helped me work on ways to keep my relationship strong even when I was out on the road. It turned out our relationship was actually better when I was out on the road, but that's a story for another day. And I know, right? Therapy. Who has the time these days? BetterHelp hears you, and they're making it easy. Fill out a quick form online, and they'll match you up with a therapist that suits your needs and that'll work around your schedule. You pick the meet times, and you can get your therapy fix from anywhere, over video, phone, or just chat. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. Okay, so this week, this is, like I said to you earlier downstairs, this is one of those games that I'm like, I really thought someone right away was going to be like, dude, we got to talk Yoshi's Island, and nobody claimed it.
And I don't know why.
I don't either. It surprises me, because, like, really, it's, like, we'll get into playing it and stuff, but, like, it's funny, because sometimes I see people say it's, like, their favorite game of all time, or their favorite platformer of all time. And
I could see that, but
yeah, like I'm kind of, at first I'm like, really? Like, of all the games, this one? But then I'm like, every single time I play it, I'm like, this is a pretty good fucking video game, man.
Well, the nice thing is it's so relaxed. You just sit there and go. You don't have the time. You don't have any of that.
Until Mario cries.
Oh,
I was thinking, like, I'm tempted to edit the cry in under the whole pocket. Like, I was like, I'm not gonna do that. But
no, you'll drive someone crazy.
Yeah, just put that, like, you guys. I will have edited it in before we get to this point of the podcast. No. You will have heard that cry. Like, honestly, that's the only black eye on this, and it's not. I don't even consider it a black eye. It's part of the game.
It is, and it creates a sense of urgency very quickly.
It does, yeah. It's like I just finished playing the original Zelda. Yeah. For the first time. I'd never played through it, the original NES Zelda. And once you get down to like one heart or two hearts, it just beeps and beeps and beeps to warn you, and it never stops till you find a heart. That's kind of what Mario's doing, and at least he does it in a fun way.
Yeah, and you know, he only got maximum like 30 seconds of it.
Yeah, that's it. And he's gone. Like, so, like, I can't imagine anyone listening to this hasn't played Yoshi's Island, but like, if you haven't, so quickly we'll set the table. It is Super Mario World 2 is the technical term for it, which, like, I'm 100% confident they only put on the box to sell more copies of the game, because it literally has nothing to do with Super Mario World.
Well, it's got Mario in it. That's
it has this weird baby Mario. It was I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the debut of Baby Mario.
I think you're right with that one.
I hate Baby Mario. Like, I love this game, but like, he shows up now in Mario Kart and all these things, and I hate him.
Well, I don't get how he's in Mario Kart. Technically, his feet can't reach the pedals.
Yeah, and he sucks. I hate him. Like, I'm like, I kept expecting him to get announced as a new player in Smash, like one of the new fighters, and I was like, don't you dare put fucking Baby Mario in that game.
No, that'd be great. This way we can just beat the hell out of the baby
for crying. Yeah, that's true. You could just play just like buy the game to beat on Baby Mario. So basically, yeah, it is technically the sequel to Super Mario World, and basically what happens is Baby Mario and Baby Luigi are on their way to their parents, I guess, and what the hell's the name of the wizard?
Kamek.
Yeah, Kamek. He kidnaps baby Luigi.
Well, he goes for them both.
He goes for them both. He gets Luigi, Mario gets away, and the Yoshis find Mario, and then they take him to Luigi.
Yeah, and sit there and what the hell's this thing?
Yeah,
Why is it
yeah.
crying.
And like at a glance, like I think some people that have never played this game would probably write it off. They would look at it early, see that it's like this cutesy. There's flowers and it's kind of cartoonish.
Happy-go-luck.
It is, like you said, it's very Saturday morning cartoon, like Kirby. It's like Kirby-esque, like as far as how little kid it kind of seems like geared toward. So I think some people might write it off right away, but then you start playing it, and dude, it's a great game.
Well, when you get into those later levels, it's kind of terrifying.
It's hard, yeah.
Oh,
It gets very, like, it comes across as really easy off the top. Because, okay, so that's the first thing I was going to get into with it is, okay, well, I know there's no format to this shit show of a podcast. So, like, because I owned this game growing up. I remember getting this game for my birthday. I was probably 11 or 12. Yeah. And I loved it. Like, I played the hell out of this game because I love Super Mario World so much. You said, because you're a little younger than I am.
Yeah, 8 years or so.
Yeah, I'm 35.
Okay, so a little more than that.
Yeah, I'm gross. I'm old.
But yeah, I'd play with my mom, and I can remember playing that when I was probably 4.
Wow. So is it like one of your first like gaming memories? Is this game?
Super Mario 3 and Super Mario 1.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Eh? Wow, that's cool, man. I like this one was like I'd already played. I played all the NES ones. I played Super Mario World, and then got this one. And I never had this. I think as an adult, I might have had an inkling to kind of write it off because I never played some of the later Yoshi games. Like I never played the Yoshi on Nintendo 64.
Oh.
Or the not GameCube. Did GameCube have one? Doesn't matter. I didn't play a lot of Yoshi games, but I did love this one. You know,
There's just something about it.
it's like, and I feel like more so than maybe almost any game Nintendo has made, it oozes that Mario charm. Or that Nintendo charm. Pardon me. It really does. It is like playing a cartoon. Yeah. You know,
with the polish and everything.
Yeah.
And the aesthetics just means so different than anything before it.
Yeah, it does. Like its graphics hold up today.
Yeah.
You know, which like I know I'm biased as you've said on here many times because I love the Super Nintendo. But that said, this game is one of, if not the best looking game on the Super Nintendo.
And just a completely different art style than normal Mario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like that kind of shady. I don't know, cartoon. It's cartoon. It looks like a cartoon. If you've never played it, play it. It looks like a cartoon. And the gameplay is nothing like an original Mario game. You know, you're used to run to the right, jump, collect mushrooms, blah 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 blah. And it took me a little while to get completely behind the controls of this one. Like I'm all for like riding Yoshi and eating stuff because you learn how to do that.
Exactly, and Yoshi's awesome.
Right, Yoshi is awesome. I think this was the first game that gave him his flutter jump.
Yep.
Which has become kind of his like
go-to,
his staple now. Yeah, and I'll tell you, dude, once you get used to playing, like if you play Super Mario World 2 and you get used to having that flutter jump as Yoshi, and then you go back to playing the original Super Mario World,
it screws you up so
right?
quickly.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, do your float, you little. Then we wouldn't have to jump off your back to fucking save ourselves.
Kill you every time.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to sacrifice you nearly as much. So I like that. I love eating, guys. I love that the eggs follow you around. And Nintendo is so good at this, more so than I feel almost any gaming company out there. When they introduce a new mechanic, they really ease you into it.
Yeah, and don't just throw you off the deep end, but give you the tutorial without you knowing it's a tutorial.
Yeah, that's it, right? And they're so good at that. And they do that with the egg throwing in this one. The first couple of levels aren't hard, but they kind of teach you like, oh, you can hold the trigger to lock the grid, you know, so you can tell where you're aiming it, or you can make it aim up or make it aim, you know what I mean? Like it's a pretty, like it's a handy mechanic. I don't use it that often when I'm playing the game outside of collecting stuff. Like, do you use it to fight guys very often?
No, I usually use it if you got the one floating question mark that if I jump, I'm gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
So you use it, you just okay, I'm lined up, and you still miss.
Like pick stuff off, yeah, and you do still miss. But that's another thing. That's my favorite thing about this. Not the missing and dying. My favorite thing about this game is I love games that give you some depth and things, and like you can race through this game and you could probably beat it in a day. If you sat down and just played, you could beat it in a day, no problem. But to 100%, I've never 100%ed this game.
I've 100% the first couple levels. That's as far as I could do.
Like the first couple like levels or the worlds?
Worlds.
Me too. Yeah. Because in each level, I love this format. Like I wish this is something that I come back in more games. Maybe it did in some of the Yoshi ones that I never played. They grade you out of 100. which I think is rad because it's so perfect. I love. I know I'm kind of going on a rant here, but like I love games that give me a reason to like go after everything in a level, but I hate games that don't tell me that I have everything.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's OCD almost, and I'm like, I can't leave the level because I'm like, did I miss something? You know what I mean? Whereas this one just tells you everything.
And then when you go back and you miss something, you're, where was it? And that's why the game's just so much fun. Is you backtrack everywhere and explore, unlike any Mario game before it.
It was that's a good point, dude. It's very like exploration based. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say for the most part there's multiple paths, but the levels aren't just like a linear left to right, like one screen. Like you can go up, down. There's tons of secrets and
Forward,
pipes.
backwards, and
yeah.
sometimes you have to get a flower or something.
Excuse me. Yeah, they do a great job of making you explore. So to get the 100, you have to get 20 red coins.
Yep.
And for the most part, I don't know if it's all of them. I can't remember, but I don't think their coins are red. I think they're regular coins.
No, I think there's an item you can get that'll
That's right.
identify them.
That's right. You could get. It was like they took the Super Mario 3 mechanic where you could stockpile items and then use them when you went into a level. And yeah, you could use an item that would make the coins red because otherwise you didn't know they were all just regular coins, which was great because it would make you go after all the coins because you had to. And that noise that like I'm not even going to try to imitate it, but that noise that the red coins make when you pick them up is very satisfying.
It is. It's
right.
gratifying.
Because you're finding it and you're like, yes. And then when you find the 20th one, it does that like extra like little tune. Oh, that's a good feeling, man. I love that.
Well, and you don't know where they are, so you're always hunting around and you grab one by accident. Oh, that was actually the red one?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, which is rad. So you have to get 20 red coins. You have to get 5 flowers, which are worth 10 points each.
Yeah, and they're hidden anywhere.
Everywhere, which is rad too. And then you also, Mario has a timer. And so whenever you take, which is something that's cool too, when you take damage, like you can take infinite hits in this game. You know, I mean, you'll die if you fall off of a cliff, like if you fall in a hole.
Cliff or spiker.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you touch a bad guy, you can take infinite hits. But every time you get hit, Mario floats away in a bubble and starts bawling. And the timer starts counting down. And it defaults to 10 seconds. Counts to 0. And if you haven't gotten him back by 0, they come in and kidnap him and you lose a life. But if you get him back, the timer slowly climbs up to 10. And then you can collect extra things to get your counter up. And so to get 100 in each level, this is where the challenge comes in. Because you have to find the 20 coins, which is hard, and you got to find the 5 flowers, which usually isn't too hard.
No.
But then you need to finish a level with a perfect score of 30 on your timer.
And every time I've noticed, you'll be going down, and you'll have 30, you're perfect, here we go, and you'll get hit right at the end. Every time
Never
without
fails.
fail.
And like, so, because that's the tricky thing is like, it'll default back up to 10. Anything you add on after 10 seconds, so 11 to 30 seconds, is only there until you get hit. And as soon as you get hit, it starts counting down. So you're right. And then you have to find a way to refill it by finding an item. Or like, if you get really good, you can bank the eggs a couple of times and then they'll start to drop a couple of starmen, you know, but that's hard though.
Or you'll get them back and you'll get the different colored eggs and that.
Yeah. And so to me, that's where the challenge is to find everything is one thing, but then to get out of the level without taking any damage is it's intense, man. When you've been playing a level for a while and you're getting close to the end, you crawl through that game because you're looking for anything that might pop out or any fucking shy guy or whatever.
Then you hope there's some just not off screen waiting to kill you.
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst. But it's so like when you finish the level, then it like Yoshi, which is a really cool animation. You get through the final exit or whatever the level. And then Yoshi like throws Mario in the air like a football. And then the next Yoshi catches him at the last second and then takes him to the next level.
See, I've always wondered what happened if they just screw that up just for a second when they're making the game. Whoops, drop the Mario.
Just let him splat. And then it like goes to a chalkboard and it looks like chalk on a chalkboard and it adds up your score.
Well, before that though, you get the roulette wheel with all the flowers.
Oh yeah, and when you beat a level, there's a roulette wheel with 10 dots on it, and for each flower you get, one of the 10 dots turns into a flower. So if you maximize, if you get all 5, then there's 5 dots, 5 flowers, and it's like a roulette wheel. And if it stops on a flower, then you get to play a bonus game.
And some of them are just crazy,
dude. Yeah, some of those bonus games are rad, man.
Well, I was playing, I think last time through, I had quite a few lives, and I got the multiplier one. And I got the ×3, and I bet like 50 lives. So I'm sitting there like, well, I can die a few times now without to worry.
That's so cool. I forgot about that. You can pick how many lives you like want to wager, right?
Yeah, it's gambling.
Yeah, it's some of the mini games in that game are so good. It's like in the original Super Mario World, it was cool that after you got 100 stars, you got to play the tic-tac-toe board with the ruling thing. But this is way deeper. There's a whole bunch of mini games, and you can stockpile items, and you can stockpile lives. And I won't lie to you, the first couple of worlds, it almost seems too easy. Because even if you don't go for the 100% in each level, you're going to end up with so many lives, and you get tons of items, and you're like, this is child's play. But it feels like around level 4, they flip a switch.
Well, difficulty spike goes from common easy right to intense, and you don't know how to counter.
It gets vicious, yeah. And by the time you get to the end of the game, like you said the same thing. I think I 100%ed the first 2 worlds. I don't think I ever 100%ed the third world because it gets too hard. I don't think I ever did.
I've been close.
I'd like to sit down and give it another. I should. It's one of those games I've been jonesing to go back and play. Yeah. It's been a few years. So then what happens is in each world what's really is I sound like I did when I started playing the game. When you 100% each of the 8 levels, you get like a bonus level, and you get a bonus like mini game that you can just play forever. It's a fantastic design, man. There's so much replay in that game.
Well, even just in each world, the level select, you got 3, and then the boss fight.
Yeah,
and those castles. What I love is they don't just throw a random enemy in there. You'll experience them the entire way through that castle. Yeah. Just to get yourself prepared to fight them.
Yeah. And that's something I was going to bring up too, is the boss fights in this game are fucking awesome. You know, like the boss fights in Super Mario World, and like I've never fallouted on this. Super Mario World is my favorite game of all time. That game is a masterpiece. But the boss fights are pretty laid back. Yeah. You know what I mean? The boss fights in this game are brilliant. You know, it's not just the graphic. What usually happens is when you get to a boss fight, it's a regular enemy. Yeah. And then fucking
Kamek comes in there.
Yeah. And zaps them with magic, and they turn into some fucking morbid, gigantic freak version of that bad guy.
Or there's, I think, the frog that just swallows you whole, and you have to fight for your way out.
I forgot. Yeah, so there's one, where instead of him zapping the frog and making him giant, he zaps you, and you go tiny, and then the frog eats you, and then you're in the frog fighting its like tonsils or something.
Yeah, he keeps swallowing Shy Guys, and you just eat them and throw them up.
Yeah, and then when you beat him, he poops you out. Yeah. And then Yoshi has this hilarious look on his face where he's staring at the camera.
Just, why am I here?
Because he knows that he just got passed through a frog's ass. It's so funny. There's one where you have to fight the giant piranha plant. Oh. And there's 2 Shy Guys behind him, and you're fighting on like a ledge. And the only way to kill him is to push him off the edge of the platform. Yes. And there's a hole behind you, and there's a hole behind them. And the 2 Shy Guys are pushing him toward you, and you're trying to push him back toward the 2 Shy Guys. I think it's Shy Guys or something, to knock him off the end, you know? Like, that's so clever. I love that.
Oh, or the other piranha plant that just becomes this monster. There's like 4 heads, and you got to bounce the eggs off to hit him.
Yeah. And there's the big fat guy, and you got to beat him, and every time you hit him, his pants fall down. And eventually he's got no pants on, and he like blushes, and I used to say that he farted, and he like disappears, but...
Well, he probably happens. The pants are holding the gas in.
Yeah. The bosses are great. And then the final boss, I'll never forget the first time I fought that as a kid. And like to this day, I don't care what anyone says. It's probably the best Bowser fight in the history of Mario.
Well, let's break that out there because there's the 2 parts for it.
Yeah, there is.
And that first part, I don't know about you, but I don't care for it. But the second it switches, the music for it.
Yeah. So the first time you fight him, and it is what it is. But then, I don't know if they ever confirm it. Is it Baby Bowser, or is
it's Kamek comes in there and makes?
Yeah, so it's not regular Bowser. No. That's Baby. So fucking he zaps Baby Bowser and makes him gigantic, and then he goes into like the distance, and he's like walking toward you, and there's incredible music playing, and you're standing on this like castle, whipping eggs into the distance trying to hit this giant Bowser.
And there's nothing more intimidating than it just getting closer and closer while you miss the mark just by...
What a great boss fight. It's so good. Like it's just like I mean, I love I shit all over Mario 64. Someday I'm going to do an episode of this. I'm going to fucking rad that game. But I do like the Bowser fights where you grab Bowser by the tail and spin him around and throw him. And there's been some cool Mario Bowser fights. But this fight where you're Yoshi whipping these eggs into the distance at this gigantic Bowser that's walking towards you is rad. and it looks great. The graphics look cool. Like they've stood up. It's if you've never played it, look it up. Like just YouTube that final fight. You're not spoiling anything. It's a Mario game. There's no spoilers in a Mario game, and it looks wicked.
Well, and then that whole castle leading up to it, you get the helicopter battle come back right off the bat.
Yeah.
And the 5 doors, which I don't know about you. If you get the wrong door, I can't make it through.
Yeah, no, which is a Mario staple, right? Where you have to play like a random door, and then some of them are way easier than other ones. Even like one of the cool things they did with this game, because you could tell that like, I mean, Super Mario World was almost, it felt almost kind of like a tech demo. Like it was Nintendo showing like, hey, this is what we can do with the 16-bit, with the Super Nintendo, stuff like that. With Yoshi's Island, it really feels like they started to like, they had a firm grasp on what the hardware was capable of. I think it came out, I mean, you guys know I never do homework for this podcast. Maybe I should. I know it came out near the end of the Super Nintendo's lifespan though. Like it wasn't a fucking early game. And you could tell they really had a firm grasp of what this game could do, because the way the background interacts with the foreground, like when you're playing, it was so cool. Like the way that like a platform could fall from the back
and come right to the front
and appear kind of at the front, but it would never screw with you. Like it wasn't hard to tell what was going on. Do you know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, you were always able to see exactly what you're going to do, where it's coming from, what's going on.
Like it wasn't cheap. No. You know what I mean? Which was really, really cool. Some of the power-ups are rad. I like that you can eat the watermelons.
And just get the seeds.
Yeah. Oh, if you've played this game, you know there's these stupid little monkeys. Yeah. And there's like worlds where these fucking monkeys eat these watermelons and just spit seeds at you and think it's fucking hilarious.
And then they just take your baby, run away with it.
Yeah, they do.
And give you the watermelon said.
They're the worst, but there's nothing more satisfying than eating a water. Because that's I thought that was one of the coolest things. You could eat the fire watermelon and spit the fire, and the ice one and spit the ice. But the coolest one to me is just eat a green watermelon and then Yoshi just spits seeds.
No, one of the coolest power-ups, the star you get from Mario, literally just...
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, and then Yoshi becomes an egg.
Yeah, and you just run through everything.
Yeah, and little baby Mario gets the cape, and he's invincible, and he can run up walls and stuff like that. Some of those are really cool, too. I forgot about that. That's rad.
That's so much fun.
And then there's like the little ones where you can turn Yoshi into like a tank or like a helicopter. I don't know if it's a tank, but like a mole kind of thing.
Yeah, a mole, a helicopter, a train.
The train, yeah. I honestly, if I have one criticism of this game, I hate being the helicopter.
Oh, it controls terribly.
It controls awful, and there's like, again, if you're trying to get everything, so you need to get all the flowers and all the red coins. There are, like you said, you can backtrack to find stuff, but there's certain points where you can't go back, and so I'm always paranoid I miss something. You know what I mean? And I hate the helicopter areas because you turn into this fucking helicopter, and then you get this giant area to explore. And I'm always terrified I've missed something. And I'll spend hours in there. Well, not hours, but I'll spend a long time just flying around looking for another coin or...
And then I think it's in the later levels, you got one shot to go through.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. If I have a criticism, I hate the helicopter. I like controlling the little mole guy, and I like it when he's a train. I hate that helicopter.
And if I'm not mistaken, that'll also be the first game for Poochie, too.
It is. Poochie. Oh, it's okay. So I know some people love Poochie. I don't hate him. I think he's a big dipshit. I'm like, you're the crappy Mario version of the Rhino from Donkey Kong Country. Yeah. Like, but you have to ride him and he just runs like an idiot. But it's a nice twist, you know what I mean? It's just something to change up the gameplay a little bit.
Well, I'll usually come up to him and just jump over the first ones where you don't really need them.
Yeah. Stay off him as long as you can.
The spikes.
Oh, fuck. Stupid dog. Well, what else was I going to say? There was another thing. So there was Poochie. I love the power-ups in this game. Except those fucking monkeys. Probably the most famous level in Mario Brothers history is Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy.
Oh, that's fun.
And so the last time I played through this game, it was on my Wii U. And on the Virtual Console, they actually released the Game Boy Advance version. Yeah. It wasn't the original Super Nintendo version. And Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy, I can't remember if it wasn't in the game or if it was just different, but they couldn't imitate.
No, I don't think they went the exact replica of it.
Yeah, and like it's funny now to play. So this level is like there's these white puffs that just float through the level, and you have to just avoid them. And if you touch one, then Yoshi basically looks like he's on acid. Yeah, like his eyes go funky, and the whole level goes fuzzy and like Technicolor, and it's swirling, and the music changes, and you have to basically wait for him to fucking come down off of this acid
the level just shifts.
Yeah, yeah.
And you'll get right to an edge and just drop you right off.
And it's like, I just like, in today's world, if they released a game with a level where Mario gets high, and you'd be like, you can't do this.
No, you just expect the backlash.
Yeah, yeah. But like, for some reason in the 90s, we were like, no, this is fine. Let them get high. It's all good. It's a sweet level. Like, sometimes you touch them on purpose just because it's entertaining to like watch them trip out.
You can eat the fuzzies and still get the same effect on them.
Yeah, yeah. It's I love it. Man, I want to play this game now just for touch fuzzy get dizzy. And then like his eyes go all baked and everything. It's the best. It's such
just picturing Yoshi like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Whoa, there's a baby with me.
Yeah. Just trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. Even the title screen, like I remember playing it as a kid, and like as you beat levels, the title screen changes.
Yeah, it shows you the progress.
Yeah, which I thought was so cool because like my bro and I would play, my little brother, and he would never really get as far as I could. I know if he's listening to this, it's true, and you know it. So you'd like scroll through the different, like you'd go to someone else's file just to see the world change, like the big hill island thing or whatever. The Yoshi's Island, I guess, is what it is. It's a really good game, man.
Well, just going to the title screen, when you get to the 8th world, just how it completely shifts.
Yeah, that's right.
To the other island.
It goes like dark or something. Yeah. Oh yeah, because remember that each world is like a tab, like a file tab, and you could just go back to any world anytime you wanted and stuff like that. It's got a ton of replayability.
Oh, it does.
You know, it doesn't look. I don't think it looks as big as Super Mario World because it doesn't have this giant island for you to walk around on. Like there's no map.
No,
you just go from level to level. But the levels themselves are, are substantially bigger than Super Mario World's levels. And I don't there's not as many. I don't know the total off the top of my head, but I know there's not as many. But there's so much more exploration involved in them.
Well, and then you get the mini games within the level with the bandit. I think it is the little.
That fucking bandit!
You every fucking time.
You had to like get a key and then go unlock a little hut. Like you'd find a key at one point in the level, then go unlock a hut, and then go play these little mini games, and that fucking bandit was always around.
Or they're rolling around the world and they just take your baby without knowing.
Yeah, so he's basically a kidnapper.
Yeah.
They all are. I suppose they all are if they're all after baby Mario. I forgot all about that guy. I hate that fucking guy. And you can't kill him?
No.
I don't think it's impossible. I think it's impossible to kill him. I'm pretty sure it is. You could like stun him.
In those stupid mini games, you're sitting there trying to beat him on some of these.
Yeah.
Just to screw him.
Yeah.
And he screws you back.
Do you remember the mini game where you have to put in the combo on the controller?
Exactly what I was thinking of.
And you have this balloon that's blowing up, and it's like playing hot potato.
Yeah.
And you can hold it for a little while if you want to, but you have to put in a combination on the controller. And the faster you put in the combination, the faster you throw the balloon back to the bandit. Mm-hmm. And then he would do it back, and eventually one of you'd be holding when it explodes. And when that balloon starts getting big and you know it's gonna pop,
you try and go fast.
Gets intense, man.
You screwed up.
I'll never forget that game. Kind of taught me the layout of the controller. Like that was the game that I was like, now like I know exactly where X, Y, A, B is. Like I know those.
You don't even have to look.
No, I don't. And I'm like, and I'm sure it's from playing that game as much as I did. That's where I learned that.
Because you're sitting there just pressing. Hopefully, because the first few times you do it, you're okay. Pass it back. Oh. What am I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah. And it starts, and then you start to freak out, and then shit goes right off the rails. It's man, I'm so like I know I say it a lot on this podcast, but like I am gonna play that. I have it on my SNES Classic, and it's sitting right downstairs. And I'm like, I gotta start playing that game again soon, man. It's been years since I played it, and it's so fucking good. And I don't think we ever got a direct sequel to it. I know they've done other Yoshi games.
I think they did later on. Yeah, they made a Yoshi's Island too.
Yeah,
for like the 3DS.
Oh yeah. None of them are as good as that first one. It's a great game. It's one of the absolute. It's like I said right off the top. When I hear people say it's their favorite game of all time, I'm like, really? But then I have to play it for 10 minutes, and I'm like, you know what?
It just all comes back.
This probably fits. It's easily on my top like 20 games of all time. I don't know if it would get in my, but it's a good video game. Other than the Mario crying, and you can look
crying and the one level, the spinning log level, right by the end of the game.
Oh.
Yeah. I knew that you'd remember that one.
Yeah. There's a couple, but where they stump you, but that's okay. You know what? I love Mario, but I don't like when Mario is too easy. No. You know, like in some of the later games, like 3D World for the Wii U and stuff, that, you know, the newer ones.
You can blast through it in a couple hours.
You totally can, but if you want to go after everything, it's hard. Mm-hmm. And to complete like 100% Yoshi's Island, like I've 100% completed almost every Mario game I've ever played. I've never 100% completed Yoshi's Island. It's so hard.
Well, just as we said earlier, you get right to the end with those 30 stars.
And that's what kills you. Finding everything is doable. It's getting to the end of the level without getting hit. Because there's at some points there's so much fucking going on.
And you're just sprinting through hoping you don't die.
Just praying not to run into something. So man, it's a great game. I love it. What would you, Kyle, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island?
I'd have to go with a 9 just for the nostalgia of it. Like, for me, it's the first video game I really played.
Yeah, that's fucking. It makes me feel old, but I love that story. That's so cool. Yeah, I'll go with I'll go 9.5. That's a great. It stood the test of time. Some games haven't, and that game has. That game is in. The controls are tight. It still looks beautiful. The music's good. Like this is one of those ones I'm excited to edit because I'm excited to go and listen to some of the music.
And if you haven't heard that final boss with the music, listen to it. It is that one.
I'm gonna, if I can find it, I'm gonna close the podcast. Like we're about to sign off, and the close is gonna be that music because it's so good. It's so good. If you've never played it, it's available on. I mean, it was obviously on the Super Nintendo. It's on the Super Nintendo Classic. I know the 3DS version's available on some virtual consoles. It's just about everywhere. You're completely missing out. It's easily one of the best games on the Super Nintendo, which is one of the best systems of all time. It's a masterpiece of a platformer. It's an incredible game. You got anything else to say, buddy?
It's a fantastic game. If you haven't played it, check it out.
Yes, please check it out. And fuck yeah, I can't believe it took this long to do that game, dude. Thank you so much for I was like, as soon as you suggested it, I was like, fuck yeah, Yoshi's Island, let's do it. That's beautiful. Thanks for coming over.
Thanks for having me.
We'll do this again. All right, thanks, buddy. All right, that is going to do it for this week's episode, everybody. That music you just heard, that is from the final fight with Bowser in that game that we were talking about. That's so awesome. That's good music, man, especially 16-bit. Like for Super Nintendo, that's fucking awesome. You guys, thank you so much for listening, and Kyle, thank you so much for coming onto the show. If you guys enjoyed it, please tell a friend. Please leave us a good review somewhere. I want to read them. I just need to find them. Comments on it, reviews. I don't care. Leave comments on the YouTube channel, on the fucking Podbean, on wherever. Doesn't matter to me. On the website now, you should be able to leave comments on the website now, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Oh yeah, and like I said, I have a website, so please feel free to check that out. It's at rememberthegamepodcast.com. New blogs going up there constantly. New blog with the podcast post every Wednesday. There's an email list there to get notifications whenever there's a new episode or a new blog going up. I implore you to check it out. I don't think it'll send you any spam. If it does, tell me and I'll turn it off. And that is it, you guys. Really, I'm absolutely blown away by the support for the show. So thank you so much. I know I've said it 100 times in the last 40 minutes, but I really, you don't know how much I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this as much as me, and let's keep this thing going, ladies and gentlemen. So that's it. Have a great week. I will check in with you guys again on Wednesday. All right. Take it easy. Cheers.